NHL best bets for Tuesday, January 6, 2026. Guys, welcome to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. Andrew McInnis, Carmine Bianco, Lawrence Presman, and Don Buster. We got a loaded show for you guys and can't wait to dive into these games. With the condensed schedule, it's such a busy time for every single team in the NHL right now. We got a handful of games to get to. I feel like we got some barking dogs today. We got some great matchups today. We got some heavy hitters. Look forward to hearing from everybody on today's show. Carm, what's up, brother? How are you? Good morning.
What's up? The dogs are always barking at some point. In a big card like this, there's got to be some underdogs that are barking tonight. We can't have all favorites winning. That's not fun. Nobody makes, well, you make money if you're betting all favorites and they win. But other than that,
it wasn't fun. I didn't like the dogs that won last night.
Yeah. Well, I had Utah, who were a dog but became a slight favorite. And then I had the over in the Ottawa game. As I mentioned, sometimes you got to look at the goalies, and Marilainen did not look good. But I did say the Detroit Red Wings were a live dog. I just didn't know that all the dogs would be live, but I'm glad the Red Wings plus 130. A little blip on the schedule for them, losing those two to Pittsburgh, but right back at it, getting a win, and a big win for them. Man, I watched the first period of that LA Kings and Minnesota game because that was the pod play that eventually went down. I went to sleep at the end of the first period. Minnesota was all over them in that first period. Could not get the goal to put them ahead. And I'm like, I just can't watch the rest of this game. This could very well finish 2-1. I'd rather get a good night's sleep and finish 4-2. But the analytic numbers in that game shows you it was a playoff type game. It was as even as you can get. 481 to 472 were the expected goals. 9.5 expected goals. They ended up with 6. That tells you how good both goalies were. High danger chances, 20-19. Shots on goal, 35-33. Pretty much as even as you could get in a game, despite the 4-2 scoreline. But one goal here or there completely changes it. What a game. But no, I'm not having a bad hair day. I'm having a good hair day, Chuck. It's just I'm wearing the hat because we're bringing this guy in. I can't have him wearing the only hat on the show. The one, the only... No. The man who's vacationing in Florida, the Prez.
We got to bring him on. And you know what? Prez, he won on a game yesterday he gave out that you and I were both giving out as well. He had the under in Utah, and we both had Utah. So you got to love it. Three of us had a pick on the same game, and all of us cast. Good morning, Prez. How was your round with Joe yesterday?
It was good. Joe is a hell of an athlete, man. But and he just... That dude just oozes machismo. I mean, he is like as manly a man as you'll ever meet. Like Mark Zeno called and he's like, I want some machismo back.
Hide your wife around Joe, eh?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's, but it was amazing. I mean, he's such an incredible athlete. He doesn't play golf a lot, but I mean, we played 9 holes. I think he got 2 birdies. I don't get birdies. I need to play at least 100 holes before one birdie might appear miraculously due to total fluke. What's going on, boys?
I was looking around yesterday, Prez. I've officially decided that I'm going to pull the trigger and I have to get fitted because it's been too long playing the game of golf where I haven't taken it really seriously enough to want to like spend the money on getting fitted and getting brand new clubs and things. But I'm too tall to be playing with the same, height clubs that my friends that are like 5'10" play with. And I feel like it's hurting my game. And I know I'm not good, so I don't use it as an excuse, but it's definitely not helping me at all. So I gotta get fitted. Fitted.
First and foremost, 7'8" people do not play golf. If you actually look around in the golfing annals of golfers, you're better off being 5'7", bro.
Yeah.
What about Michael Jordan? He loves golf.
Yeah, I don't recall him making the tour, but I mean, what do I know? He is Michael Jordan.
He loves to gamble, but then he's got the shoe money, so it's all good.
I was just reading about him yesterday. It calls him the first richest athlete of all time, number one of all time. But that's not actually true.
Well, there's a lot of overplayed athletes, and which brings us to.
No, I want to tell you who is true. Can't I tell you who is true? What?
Okay. What?
Who is the richest athlete of all time?
The richest athlete of all time, male or female?
It's a horse.
Secretariat.
No, and I think the horse is female. There is a horse that sired, and this was about 5 years ago, every single Kentucky Derby winner in the last like 30 years or something. That horse's jizz is $250,000, and he jizzes all day, baby.
Jeez.
So that's a male horse, which.
Oh yeah, male horse.
Secretariat.
Yes.
Secretariat was a male horse.
It is not Secretariat, but there is a
Northern
horse.
Dancer.
I
think
know
mine goes for $9.99 on eBay.
The two biggest horses are, I would say, Secretariat and Northern Dancer. Their bloodlines continue. But
okay.
Speaking of bloodline, let's come on, man. For the We Want Florida fans from a couple of years ago, the Leaf fans clamoring for the Florida Panthers. -129 for the Panthers tonight in Toronto, +107 for the Leafs. Total sits here at 6. I know you normally come on the show and you're like, leave totals. I want you to give me a side in this game instead.
Well, I mean, we have to look at this from a value perspective solely. I don't know why Florida is favored here. A -122. I mean, look, this Florida Panthers team, I get it. Every year they play the Leafs in the playoffs and they win, but it isn't the playoffs, and they don't beat the Leafs during the regular season because that's when the Leafs actually show up and play. Leafs beat them already this year, December 2nd, 4-1. I don't think this Florida team is as good as everybody thinks they are, especially without their two big guns, Tkachuk and Barkov. This Florida team, it's not exactly like they're coming into this game on a roll. Sure, they beat Colorado 2-1, which is a big, big win. And not only a big win, but sets up a letdown spot. Granted, there wouldn't be a letdown spot as they're playing their rivals, the Toronto Maple Leafs. But this is a team that has lost 2 of their last 3. They're not exactly on fire right now. And the Toronto Maple Leafs have not lost in regulation in 6 games in a row. They played mediocre against the New York Islanders. They only put up 21 shots. And their power play has started to slightly turn around. But interestingly enough, they only had 1 power play against the New York Islanders. And that suggests to me that we might probably get 3 to 4 power plays tonight from the Leafs. Now, William Nylander is out tonight, and that is a big deal. But then so is Barkov, and so is Matthew Tkachuk. So that does kind of wash itself. The Leafs, since Chris Tanev has come back, has been a whole different can of worms. What else is that the vibe in the dressing room is changing. The Leafs are right in the hunt for a playoff spot, just like Florida is right now. And I'm going to take the team that is really in better form at this particular moment. As I said, Florida's lost 2 of 3, and the Leafs haven't lost in regulation in 6. I got no issue if you want to take a flyer on an overtime at +310, 320. But I think the value here, guys, is on the Leafs. They're at home. They've won. They're hotter than Florida, and I don't think Florida. I wouldn't be floored if Florida doesn't make the playoffs. To be honest with you, frankly, I wouldn't be floored if the Leafs don't make the playoffs either. With teams like Detroit and Ottawa and Montreal looking as good as they are and not being around last year, and the Buffalo Sabres on fire. I mean, we're literally seeing a changing of the guard right now. So yeah, I don't know if either of these teams will make the playoffs, but for this game only, I'm taking the dog.
Yeah, I get that, Prez. Go ahead, Carm.
I was just going to say, and I'll go to Andrew for his thoughts as well too. We're into the second half of the season. Matthew Tkachuk's expected back soon. Barkov's back on the ice, but he's still a long way from playing for the team. But they've got enough guys and enough experience. I think they make a run, get into the playoffs. And And the East is so tight that,
sure.
that one of these spurts by the Leafs, as you mentioned, points in 6 straight games. Matthews is scoring. His last 4 games, the guy's got 10 points. He only had 23 prior to that, and he's now. If Matthews is scoring, the Leafs are normally winning. So if that trend continues, it is a positive for the Leafs. Nylander, yeah, you're right about Nylander. I think he got put on the IR on Friday, so he can come back off the IR, I think, at the end of the week. So we'll see what happens with that. But any thoughts on like a regulation line here? Because these teams don't seem to go to overtime.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you know me, I actually prefer. Listen, I don't know about this game specifically because I actually am worried about overtime in this particular game. Leafs have played, 2 of their last 4 to overtime. Normally, I would always rather play regulation than the money line. I prefer that bet. So, if I'm betting the Leafs tonight, I would have no issue splitting the bet in 2, one on the money line and one in regulation, and you're going to get a hell of a line on regulation. That's for sure.
Prez, someone says he's flying to watch Fish concert.
No, to watch the Leafs in Philadelphia, and the Philadelphia stadium is giving out. Obviously the Flyers will probably, I don't know, they're playing in Fish jerseys or whatever. But I will tell you this, Carm, in regards to Philadelphia and Fish, although the Grateful Dead is different to Fish, they are the same group of people, same target market, if you will. I've been to 64 Grateful Dead shows and 20 Dead and Company shows. That's 84 shows altogether. I've walked through the parking lot on Shakedown Street in every one of those shows. And Philadelphia is the only Grateful Dead concert I've ever been to where a full-on brawl broke out. So, yeah.
Well, it's Philadelphia.
Yeah. Bunch of stoned hippies, and they were still able to find a fight. Anyway, I got to promote and I got to run, my brother. I got a $5 play tonight. It's an NHL play. Check it out over at WagerTalk. It's only $5. It's a 4% play. These 4% plays are extremely rare, Carm. I'm going with 6 in a row in this particular play. It's a 4% total bet. Check it out. It's only $5, and I have my 5% wild card NFL play up already. Joe Ranieri and I are running a promo all week. It's a buy one, get one free. You buy a week of me, you get a week of Joe for free. It's $99. It includes every single play we release across every sport, every unit. Guys, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure doing this show. Enjoy, Buster, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, Prez, all I can say at this point, you're enjoying the fantastic weather there is, and I think everyone in the chat should echo the same thoughts. You're playing at Seminole Hard Rock in a big tournament.
Start Thursday.
Best of luck to you. Yep, best of luck to you. Bring some of that American money home.
Thanks, brother. I had no idea how much coffee gets stuck in a mustache. Later, everyone.
Prez, maybe next week, Carmel, let me talk to you. I'll talk to you next week.
Hey, Andrew, it's me, dude. It's me, man. It's me. Be good, brother.
See you later.
Come on. All right. Well, I'll make up for it. I'll let you talk to Buster as much as you guys want. You guys can talk about the Montreal Canadiens. You can talk about the prices of avocados.
It's all right. I'm sipping coffee. It's all good. I'm sipping coffee. It's all good.
With that said, I have tea. So I'll sip a tea. Don Buster's on his 3rd Modelo right now, likely. So let's bring him in before he starts tipping over.
Buster's behaving himself over there.
No, I just got maybe this much of vodka in here just to help take the edge off when I come on with you guys,
Well, you have to be on vodka to pick the game that you picked to break down today. I will let Andrew take over here.
Well, Buster, I have to ask you because we were talking with Prez about, the Leafs and even that whole Atlantic division right now is so competitive. And you and I are Habs fans. Obviously, that road trip was amazing. I think it was like 10 of a possible 15 or 14 or 16 points. But What's your take on this Atlantic Division as a whole right now? Before we jump into that, I got to ask you, I mean, the Habs are playing well, and they're only going to get healthier. I heard Gooley might come back here in the next day or two, which is awesome. He's practicing, and we'll get Newhook back and some of those guys. But Detroit, I mean, I keep waiting for this team to fall off. You know, Buffalo went on that huge streak. Prez talking about Toronto. What's your take on the East and the Atlantic as a whole?
Well, Andrew, like you guys have talked about it, you know what? It's up for grabs all over. Even a team like even a Columbus, who, you know, they've got that Jet Greaves in net. You never know when he gets hot. That team has a lot of, and they're the last team, I believe, in the whole division almost. But I tell you, it's going to be interesting. Now, we all expect Florida and Toronto to get up in there in the playoffs. We expect, and I've heard you talk, Andrew, maybe you as well, Carmine, about regression with these teams. Regression with our Montreal Canadiens, regression with the Detroit Red Wings, maybe even a little there's just a couple of teams here that I don't know if they do regress, or Ottawa even. Yeah. Ottawa, geez, they look good so many times, but then they go play a game like they did last night, right?
The goaltending.
Well, so yes, they need goaltending, but there's a lot of teams that need goaltending. Edmonton needs goaltending. Toronto, even though they got Wall and he's been playing well, you don't want him. How if you're a Leaf fan, do you really, if you get into the playoffs to start, do you really want to back your playoff Stanley Cup hopes on Wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't think
sure
so. How about the
I tell you, we're in a really good shape. Mountain Ball.
Yeah.
Oh, the Bruins, yeah, I like what I've seen lately from the Bruins. But again, they're another team that you never know. How about Pittsburgh? I've wrote those guys off. They've killed me the last week. They're winning games like crazy again. So I mean, it's just it's as a hockey fan, it's fantastic. And it's going to be the last games. Like
it's a big chase right now, Buster. It's a big chase.
You're going to see.
This is the weirdest analysis.
Teams, fight for the playoffs.
This is the weirdest analysis for the Seattle-Boston game I've ever heard.
So when it comes to the Boston Bruins, it's a weird situation tonight because we've been seeing this a lot in the NHL where the team on the road is actually the more rested team. Like Seattle's on the back-to-back, but they're the home team. Typically, you know, in the old days, it was always the road team that was playing in the worst situation. How do you break this one down? Big road trip for the Bruins, but they actually have the rest advantage here.
Yeah, you're right, Andrew. We actually have a couple of teams there playing very decent hockey. As you say, with the Bruins now, I think we talked about it at the beginning of the year. The only way I think all three of us agreed that Boston didn't really have the club that we thought they would have. And the only way they were winning games is with goaltending. Well, that kind of went to the side, and they were getting beat up there for a while. But they put three good games together. They won two of them. And they did lose in overtime Calgary, but still got a point. And Swayman's been playing a lot better. There's no doubt about that. As for Seattle, they've now won 7 of their last 8 games. And there's a team that you got to believe will regress as well because they were near the bottom of in the West. The problem for the Kraken tonight, you kind of mentioned it, Andrew, is that they played last night late in Calgary. And now less than 24 hours later, they have to take on a Boston team that's playing good hockey and have been waiting for them. Another hitch for Seattle here. This is their 3rd game in 4 nights. Coming home, always a bad spot. Although this last week, it hasn't been all that bad of a spot for teams. But for almost the whole month of December, that was a great situation spot for the first 3 weeks. Last week has kind of went to shit on that, but still, it's a bad spot for Seattle here. And it's also their first home, if you want to look at it, only a two-game road trip, but it's still their first home. And like I said, truthfully, I've never really felt comfortable with these two teams at all. They play some good hockey lately, but I don't know if they're going to both be there when it comes to playoffs. I don't think Seattle will. Boston, you never know if they get the goaltending. Anything can happen in that whole division, as we've been talking. However, I just want to make one more point here. Look at the special teams. Now, Seattle's in a super bad spot. Now look at their special teams. Boston's power play is 4th in the NHL. Seattle's at 16th, but it's in the penalty kill. Seattle has the worst penalty kill in the NHL. And with Boston's been scoring some power play goals lately, and I think that's helped them win some games. To me, with all the just a real bad situation for Seattle and the way Boston has been playing, I really like the Bruins to get the job done here. What we're going to do, though, we're actually playing the Bruins on the first period money line. It's about the same as the Bruins for the full game. And what's been happening to us lately is that we've been playing those first period good situations, first periods, and our team's been pushing, but they've been winning the full game. So you get a push and you win the full game. So we decided it's a new year, so we're going to start playing some games, first period and full game, making 2 small wagers on that because of what's happened to us in the last month or so. I will take a quick look at the total for everybody here. Since these teams have started playing each other, it's been 5 unders, 4 overs. They haven't played each other this year. So Boston has gone 5-4 to the under their last 9 games, and Seattle's gone 6-3-1 to the under in their last 10. Now, because of the situation and because that totals a 5.5, it's 5.5 over 25, but still, these teams, you hear the teams' names and you automatically think under, right? But because of the spot, the 3 and 4 games for Seattle, I really avoid playing unders with those with that situation as well, because I believe that they don't play as well on defense. So we're going to pass the total. Anybody that likes to bet it under, I don't blame you, but I just don't bet 5.5 unders. It might get to 6. I thought I seen a 6 earlier, around 15 minutes ago. So you might, if you can get a 6, you might want to bet it under. But truthfully, I pass the game, bet Boston, and that's the way we're going here. Boston first period and a little extra play and for the full game.
There you go.
All right, let's go to Andy Lang for Wager Talk today. No, actually, we still have a little bit of time left. Buster, what do you got to promote?
You gotta give me a chance every once in a while.
What do you got to promote over at Wager Talk? You are on tomorrow as well, too. I've got you doing double duty.
Okay.
So everyone will get to see that beautiful mug of yours tomorrow as well.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that's a good promo, Carmine. You maybe should not have said that, but anyways, yeah, it's Customer Appreciation Tuesday today. Last week we changed strides there and put out a college football play, which was a nice winner, and we're back to our 4% NHL best bet. It's a total best bet, and we are number 1 lifetime in 4% best bet totals in the NHL. You want to go over to the site and grab that. Also, the powers of be at WagerTalk have a great 7-day all-access pass for only $69. So you get all our plays, 7 days, $69, and that includes all 5% releases. It also includes for Brother Carmine and Brother Andrew, and go over, grab all 3 of us for $69. 7 days, we all do a little different sports. Carmine with the soccer and that. So head on over to WagerTalk and check that all out.
It's a great deal. 7 days for the price of 3. All right, Buster, we'll check you later. And tomorrow we'll talk. It'll be Habs game day. Look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow. Take care.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Best of luck, everyone.
Good luck, Buster.
All right, Carm. So the way you set it up,
Brother,
it's been 23 minutes and you and I haven't given out a pick yet. You got to love that for the show that we are hosting. But the good news is that we've got 2 heavy hitters, the 2 biggest games of the night.
Boom.
That we saved for the last of the show. I'm looking forward to seeing if we're on the same page with this one. Colorado and Tampa Bay. What do you have for this one, Carm? What do you think?
This is who picked this game? I did. -117 for Colorado, -104 for Tampa. It is odd in the sense of Tampa Bay being a dog at home, and I get it. It's Colorado coming to town, and Florida dealt them only, I think, their 3rd regulation loss or something along those lines. This team just doesn't lose in regulation very often. But this Tampa team has been playing extremely well. I get it. They're coming back from the West Coast, where they pretty much dismantled on Saturday. They pretty much dismantled the Sharks early. But my God, this team has won 7 games in a row. They swept that 3-game Western road trip, beating the Ducks, beating the Kings, beating the Sharks. Obviously, it wasn't the toughest because they didn't go to Colorado, they didn't go to Vegas, and even Utah, who's playing extremely well right now. But this team is scoring goals. I think they've scored at least 4 goals in every one of those wins over the last 7 games, which is unbelievable. They're firing on all cylinders, but you have the Colorado Avalanche, who have been firing on all cylinders and held to one of their lowest outputs of the season, only a goal. This team is playing absolutely phenomenal. I have to lean the over in this one. I get it. Sometimes you talk about you get 2 good teams playing each other, 2 cup contenders playing each other, and you expect a tight game with the neutral zone clogged. That's not the way these teams play. These teams are not going to play any differently than they've played all season long. I would expect nothing but goals in this one, and we see some power plays. We're going to see some power play goals as well too. Obviously, with Tampa coming back, and as I mentioned, they played on Saturday, and now they've had a couple of days since flying back. It's their first game back on home ice. We'll find out very early whether they have the legs or not in this game, because you know that Colorado is going to come at them after that loss in Florida. I have to think there's goals in this game at 6.5. This is one of those ones where if you don't like the hook, you can wait the opening 3-4 minutes of the game, hope that no goals get scored, and live bet 6 and take the over, because the goals, I think, eventually come in this one, Andrew. So it has to be the over for me.
The over, look, it's going to be a good game. I'm excited to watch it. 2 teams with great power plays, with superstars all over the ice. Carm, I always say this. I'm going to try and bet this team more in the new year. I'm going to try and bet on this team more often. And, I'm immediately breaking my rule, because I gave us this play on the pre-scout last night when I recorded my video. Give me the dog. Give me the Tampa Bay Lightning. This, to me, is a Tampa Bay number. If it was a Colorado number, we would see the opening number be a little bit bigger. And all good things in life seem to come in pairs. Sometimes it can be a bad thing as well. And the Avalanche dropped that game against the Florida Panthers. Carm, you called it the Florida double. We call it, sometimes the Alberta double, when you have that back-to-back or the 2 games in a row, whether it be against the Panthers, whether it be against the Lightning, whether it be the 2 game against the Flames and the Oilers. And, just because you lose one doesn't mean you're going to win the other. You're not guaranteed a split. And we know how fantastic this team has been, but what a run offensively it has been for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now that they're healthy again, they've got 2-3 lines that are contributing. Both power play groups are looking good. And I just think that right now, the way their goaltending is looking, the consistency of their game. And what I like too, Carm, you look at, they've beat good teams, they've beat bad teams, they've beat middle of the pack teams. They're beating everybody. And it's very hard for me to go against Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar and those guys, but I do think this is a spot for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I think that everybody's famous last words, right? You think about NFL. Oh my God, I'm really going to get only -3.5 on this team, or I'm only going to get, -4, right? Whenever you're only going to get this number, it's your famous last words. So I would actually have respected this number more from the market if it opened up a tad bit bigger, but it's not. And I guarantee you there's a lot of people today, Carm, that are sitting there saying, oh my God, look at this cheap price on the Avalanche. They've barely lost all year. And I'm going to go a little contrarian and take the Lightning to get the job done. So, hey, let me take a 4-3, a 5-2, anything that can help us both win, Carm, I'm happy with.
Yeah, it's tough, Andrew. I'm not picking on you, but when a team has won 7 games, a 2-time Stanley Cup champion team, and they're at home and they're on a 7-game win streak, and they're a slight dog, I don't call that being contrarian. I just call it
true.
Hopefully being on the right side of the coin toss. I'm not saying this is a coin toss, but as someone mentioned, the Avs had a lot of 1-goal games, but they always end up seemingly on the right side of it. But this is a good measuring stick, you have to believe, for Tampa Bay to see how they line up against this team. Maybe Florida gave them a game plan of how to shut down the Avs in that game, because there haven't been many teams that have shut down the Avs. So we'll see how that goes. It should be a good game. I have no action on it, but I will be watching it. It'll be on one of my screens, because when you get two teams like this, you got to watch the game.
You're right, Carm, and I respect the chirp, because you're right. But the only thing is, I do feel like
it's not meant as a chirp. It's definitely not meant as a chirp. Honestly,
no. But I like it though, and you're right. But it's more so the fact that I think people love to bet on the Avalanche. But you're right. The Tampa Bay Lightning are on a huge streak, so maybe I should feel better about myself. I am following my rule. I'm betting on a hot team. I'm still betting on a hot team, which I like to see. Titan CT says, any thoughts on the Preds game? And then, of course, we got a comment, just 2 comments below, which was going to be the exact thing that I was going to say. Draisaitl anytime goal. He's averaged 2 points per game versus the Preds in his career. I'm not a puck line guy, Carm. If there's one puck line on the board I like, it's that one. And a little bit of a sneak preview. That's one play I have in my same game parlay is Leon Draisaitl to have a pretty good game. Any thoughts for you on that one?
I will have my thoughts on the Preds Oilers game in the pod play at the end of the show, so you'll see where I'm coming from in that game. But just want to mention, guys, it is $5 Tuesdays over at WagerTalk. Every handicapper with a $5 play, some of them with multi $5 plays. I have a 4% play up as a $5 play, and I also have a 5% play up tonight. The office put together a great deal, which is on my page. A couple of you guys took advantage of it last night, which is the rest of the NHL season, and you get all of the NFL playoffs through the Super Bowl. So that is a great deal, and you can find it on my page. No coupon code needed for that one. Now, Andrew, the second game that we're going to discuss, you and I, Dallas Stars, Carolina Hurricanes. Again, people can say this could easily be a preview of the Stanley Cup Finals as well. Dallas plus 112, Carolina minus 136. Man, what is it? Am I a sucker here, Andrew, for thinking that anytime I see Dallas at plus money, I just want to jump on them because I like this team?
I wouldn't blame you. Like this team is so weird right now. Like, I don't know. They're not meeting their potential. They're not meeting what they're capable of right now here in this one. But it kind of does seem like a spot that I'm interested in Dallas as well here, Carm, because the Hurricanes had a couple of tough games in a row. Then on Sunday, they bounced back. What was it? 3-1 win over the Devils. But the way I would describe this Hurricanes team right now, they've been busy. Their schedule has been a little bit quick, a lot going on for them. But, you like the over in the other game. I like the over in this one. When you think of the Hurricanes and the Stars, you don't typically think of teams that are just lighting it up. But both of their defensive numbers and I think goaltending numbers we're starting to see kind of, get a little bit worse as things have gone on. But Brandon Bussey, I think he's getting the start here. I watched a fantastic interview with him on the Spit and Chicklets podcast. Seems like a real great guy, and you love goalies like that have made their way up and through the ranks. But he couldn't really sustain the numbers he had going for him either, right? Like, and I know that's everyone's famous last words. Oh, this guy's not going to keep playing this well, but you saw it. How many goals did he give up against Montreal? Like 6 or 7. It's not going to always happen where you just have 2 goals against your whole career. I like the over here, Carmen. I'm with you. I think Dallas is probably the side. They're playing with a lot of desperation right now. I think they need more depth scoring, though. Do you feel like that's an issue with this team?
I do, and I think that this is why, as the Eastern Conference sort of starts to separate at some point, and I believe it will within the next 10 to 15 games, and possibly likely before the Olympic break, which comes on, the Olympic break is on I think the 5th of February, and then we don't see any action until the 25th. We could see some deals for and especially some scorers. I think teams are going to make positioning. I think we're going to see more trades before the trade deadline than on deadline day. So I think there's quite a few teams. And we talk about goalies. I don't think the goalie market is great out there, Andrew. But you look at Carolina. Carolina's always had a very good team. I'm questioning their goaltending now. I'm a little worried because Bussi he was like 8-0 on home ice with a 159 goals against average. And then the Montreal Canadiens come in and score a 6 on him. I think they got an empty netter for the 7th goal. It is when you allow 17 goals in 3 games like Carolina did, you needed a game like they did against New Jersey where they won that game 3-1. But you got to worry about it because Freddie Anderson, we don't know if it's going to be the Freddie Anderson of old. He did play well I think in his last start. It's a scary proposition for Carolina right now. The Stars, I get it. They're losing games, Andrew, but I think that there's enough quality on that team that they will put it together. They've gone through spurts before in past seasons where they've lost consecutive games. They get called out. Their players get called out, and they end up playing better. I'm not really worried about the Dallas Stars. They're still going to be at the end of the season one of the top 3 teams in the Western Conference. But those are my thoughts.
No, I think that, look, it's better to go through it now than in February, right? Or March. I think it's important that every team goes through it a little bit. You just have to be able to come out on the right side and play a bit better. Jamie Benn goes down with injury, though. That's tough for them. But, I think overall they're going to be just fine, that team. The thing is, I've been looking at a lot more is, how a lot of times people say when you look towards analytics, you want to look towards 5-on-5. And I know Brian talks a lot about the 5-on-5 numbers. And a lot of times when I'm doing my analysis, I'll look at 5-on-5. But some teams are just power play merchants. Like they're so good on the power play that you have to include it. And I think that if you take away all factors in all situations and you look simply on 5-on-5, this Dallas Stars team has been a little bit of a power play merchant. So they need to also get more 5-on-5 games going. But sometimes you also got to consider it. Like maybe that's just who they are. Maybe they, you look at some teams like Colorado and Tampa Bay, some of the elite teams in the league, they rely on power play sometimes. That's just part of their game here. Jonathan Davis says, Carmine, Freddie crapped his pants in his last game, giving up 3 third-period goals to the Avs.
Well, a lot of people are going to crap their pants against the against the Colorado Avalanche. So it's something that's going to happen. 30 saves. He allowed 4 goals in that one. Obviously, the last one was an empty netter. I still think Andrew, as far as Anderson coming back, they're going to need him to play well. So, he played well for the first 2 periods and then they just fell apart. But that's also the team that is in front of you. The problem is that he hadn't played in something like a 2 or 2.5 week period, came back, played sporadically, but he hasn't looked the same. Right. And this is what I'm talking about as far as goaltending goes and why I'm a little worried about this Carolina team is Bussi going to be their number 1 goalie going forward? He's going to have to be because Kochetkov, I think he's gone for the season. He might be gone for the season or is gone for the season. If Freddie Anderson doesn't look good, how much confidence do you have with him in a 7-game series against any team that they play? So that is the worry. I will talk about a future before we get into the same game parlay, Andrew, in the pod. And this isn't a jerk reaction to last night's game because I've been watching this team since the trade, and the odds on the Minnesota Wild right now are 22-1 to win the Stanley Cup. The most important thing in the playoffs is, other than the fact that you need scoring and the addition of Quinn Hughes has made that team a lot faster, is the fact that you need not 1, but 2 good goalies. And the Minnesota Wild have 2 very good goalies in Wallstead and Gustafsson. They're going to be awfully tough in a 7-game series if it comes down to goaltending because they have it right now. if this team makes a couple moves prior to the trade deadline, almost like to use a poker term, pushing your chips all in, they have a very good shot in a Western Conference with some stacked teams. The right path will get them there. So 22-1 seems like too much to pass up. I'm actually going to release that as a client play as well too, for like 2% probably. But I'm betting it. So my money's going on it. The opportunities are there if this team makes a run to the conference finals that you can always hedge out. If you can't hedge out a 22-1 play, you shouldn't be betting sports.
I agree, Carm. I agree. And again, with that being said, you're not talking about, hey, how much somebody's putting down on it. It's just about your bankroll management. You can put whatever you want on that bet, but you should have enough in there to be able to hedge it out as well. I just think that with that division, you escape that division. You even win the first round. You're looking pretty good, but that division is just a hellhole. Like, I mean, I know that sounds kind of messed up to say, but like, look at the top 3 teams in that division. One of those teams is going to be out after the first round. That is just ridiculous. You gave out a future, Carm. I'm going to give you a little bit of a rant because well, and this has nothing to do with betting, but something has bothered me in the hockey world over the last couple of days. And I don't know if you've seen the Zane Parekh stuff in NHL, but he's a player that plays for the Calgary Flames, but he went and played for Team Canada at the World Juniors. He was the captain of the team. And he said in an interview that he's having so much fun with the World Juniors. And he said, in the NHL, sometimes you feel a little bit like a robot. You feel like they're telling you what to say a little bit, or you feel like you can't give proper answers and fun answers. And long story short, they pretty much, Calgary Flames got wind of it because he said, well, in Calgary, you got people telling you what to say and things. And he pretty much called NHL players robots a little bit, but he didn't call anybody out in particular. And so the Calgary Flames management got wind of it. They talked to him. A few of the players talked to him. And I even saw a long quote from one of the players, Mackenzie Weegar, and he said, look, we're not happy with what he said. Nobody here tells him what to say. But then he even said himself, I agree. I find hockey players sometimes do talk like robots a little bit as well. And I just want to kind of project the irony in this, Carm. Like, the irony of this is that he was saying that they're not allowed to say what they want to say. And then the Calgary Flames make him issue an apology for what he said. It is the most backwards thing. He says, well, hockey players are like robots. We're told what to say too much, and we can't have fun and be goofy in the media. And then Calgary Flames organization makes him pretty much apologize for what he said, pretty much proving his point that they are restricted in what they're allowed to say. So I've been wanting to get that off my chest because I thought that was ridiculous. I've been tweeting about it. I think that it's an issue in the NHL that players are not as outspoken. Sure, they try and be respectful to the media, and it's good, but you also need to have some personality in the media. And I felt like that was a big loss, a big L for the Calgary Flames, because you can't be a team that, I get it. He might have sounded like he was taking shots at the Flames organization, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of stupid. Any thoughts, Carm, or move on?
My thoughts are this on athletes in general. I don't take what any athlete says over what any normal person would say with regards to anything, whether it's sports related, union related, world issues related. You know why, if there's a dentist convention, you know why they don't get interviewed and shown on Sportsnet? Because they're dentists. But all they do is they go to work every day. And that's what NHL players do. Go to work every day. It is a job for them. Mm-hmm. After that, all I care about is what they do on the ice. As long as they're not doing something immorally off the ice, I could care less about what their thoughts are on any subject. So that's the way I look at it. One quick thought, some guy said that hedging is for gardeners. I've made a lot of money being a gardener then, because I love to hedge, and anytime I release a big future for that is about to cash or is in a position to cash, I always update the write-up and tell people that might be uneasy with their position on how properly to hedge it out. I picked France. I gave out France and Croatia. France 7-1, Croatia 40-1 to meet in the World Cup final in 2018 in Germany. Who met in the World Cup final? France and Croatia. 40-1, 7-1. Now you could sit there and say, I'm going to cash one of these. Or you could be the person who says, let me shorten the middle and guarantee myself a little bit more when France wins by betting on France a little more on a hedge against Croatia. This is how you make money. Real Madrid, I had them at 20-1 to win Champions League. They lose the first game. They lose the first game in the quarterfinals. And I took them at 33-1 because I knew they would win the second game at home and go on to win the Champions League, which they did. Chelsea 20-1. I always put myself in a position to hedge out at least your initial investment, and then you're free rolling the rest. So if you think it's for gardeners, when you lose your future bets, just remember, it is like betting the Leafs to win the Stanley Cup. Even if they're 15-1, $100 at 15-1 is zero because they're not going to win the Stanley Cup. But anyways,
yes, I'm the same way. I got my same game parlay, but it makes me laugh because I had a friend in from out of town over Christmas, and he was telling all of us what my friends back home, like, they made this 45-1 same game parlay with NFL. And I said, how much did he bet on that? And I said, oh, cool. You know how much he's going to win on that? Or you know how much he could possibly can make? Yeah, nothing at all, because you're betting a 45-1. You put all these crazy bets together sometimes. Hedging is way better than cashing out too. You see people on Twitter all the time say, should I cash this out? Should I cash this out? That's the way to go. And you want to talk about shameless plugs, Carm? This is not shameless at all. If there's one thing that I will always ask Carmine about, and I will tail every single bet Carmine makes, guys, is during these soccer tournaments and his future bets. Carm does very, very well with futures. And when the World Cup comes, you guys better hop on board with Carmine's future bets. I'm sure he has packages and stuff you guys can grab right now. Jonathan, I did see that. Yes, I did see that text exchange. I'm just saying it was so ironic, the fact that he got corrected for what he did after they called him a robot, pretty much. Thought that was pretty ironic. All right, Carm, yesterday we went 1-1 with the same game parlays, but the one that hit was the -131. So, break even. We've got two same game parlays, and both of them are plus money here. You guys can combine them both and make +751, or you can play them both individually. We got a +246 and a +146. We got the first one, Braden Point, to get at least 1 point, and Nikita Kucherov, at least 3 shots on goal. Kucherov has been fantastic lately, and Braden Point does pretty well against top dogs like the Avalanche, especially at home when they get the last change. Love that price, that +146 for that one. And 2 picks for the second one. Leon Draisaitl, as we've been talking about all show long in the live chat, he averages on his career 2 points per game against the Nashville Predators. Whether it be assists or whether it be goals, I'm looking for Draisaitl to have a good one. And yes, guys, a very rare puck line play for me. +246 with this one, -1.5 goals. The Edmonton Oilers. If you want to play them all, guys, +751. Let's cash this ticket. All right, guys, we've got plays up for $5 Tuesday, but I'll tell you the best bet available right now and the best package available is 7 days all access for the price of 3. I earned around, I think it was +22 units in the NFL with player props this season. We're going to have a ton of player props for the playoffs this weekend. I cannot wait. Don't forget to hop on board. We actually have a big play going on Sunday. I'm waiting for those consensus plays lines to come out so I can release. I want you guys all to get the same number. But don't forget about the NFL player props, NHL, college basketball, whatever it might be. You guys can join me 7 days for the price of 3. That works for Carmine as well. And of course, $5 Tuesday, every play, everything we have for just $5. And Carmine, I believe you have a 5% play. Those aren't $5, but everything else you do have is $5. And if I know you probably have a code somewhere for that play.
I actually don't. I normally do. Normally do. But I don't have one.
They can use this. They can use this then. They can use this.
Yes, you guys can use that, or you can just take the rest of the NHL season and get the NFL playoffs, because we're going to kick ass in the NFL as well too. But 4% play up for $5, and then the 5% play up. A couple soccer plays that goes off at 12 o'clock, so it's actually starting in 10 minutes. 2 games from Italy swept the weekend card in soccer. But I will have a $5 EPL play up for tomorrow, up today, right after the show. So you can grab that for $5 as well too, and 1 NFL play. With that said, guys, we got to get this pod winner tonight. And I'm going to Edmonton. I mentioned I was going to talk about this Edmonton game. I am going to play the first period over in this game. The first period over 1.5 is -140 between Edmonton and Nashville. Just a few numbers to support it. Nashville on the road, the last 10 games, they have gone over the first period total in 9 of 10 games. And the Edmonton Oilers in 10 home games, the last 10 home games, they are 7-3 to the over 1.5 in the first period. I like both those numbers. So obviously it fits in this spot here. We're going to go over in the first period, -140. Let's get that bankroll up. I want to be at like 8K before the weekend gets here. So that is your pod play. One additional thought for you guys, because I talk about this all the time. We didn't cover the Buffalo-Vancouver game, but it's not a client play, but one of my theories, or one of the things I like to play, is when a team loses or has a big winning streak snapped, like the Buffalo Sabres, I like to bet against the team again the following game. They are a juicy price tonight. The Vancouver Canucks tonight are, looking at it right now, plus 138. That line has come down. It was at 190 and 155, so it has come down. I'm taking the Vancouver Canucks. Off of 3 bad home games, they hit the road, and they have won, I think, 5 of their last 6 road games, or 4 of the last 5. They can win on the road. They just can't seem to win at home. I would take a shot with the dog tonight in Buffalo with the Vancouver Canucks. Andrew, if you're there.
I like that angle too, Carm. I just think that it's, once a run ends, it usually ends for a little bit. So we'll see what happens with that. Sorry about the late graphic there, Carm, but over 1.5 first period. Now, I will say, we might get people confused because you only have one logo on there. It confused me the first time. So first period over. We're not taking the Nashville Predators on any plays in that one. First period over in that one. That will do it for the show, Carm. Let's wrap it up because Andy Lang's already knocking on our door. That will do it for the show, guys. Let's try and get up to 175 likes for this video. Not much to ask. Hopefully you guys can hit the over on that. 175 likes. Thanks for watching. Don't miss Carmine's big play. And make sure you guys grab my plays as well for just $5 at WagerTalk.com. See you guys later. Best of luck and enjoy the Tuesday NHL slate.